Nova guys, bro. Well, church.
That worked.
Well, he's deep about Northern Virginia.
I know.
Dana's gonna lie in that. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we got to let me cop now.
It's actually
I'll take one actually, yeah.
I'll get you back.
Huh?
I'll feed those guys.
I'll grab it.
These guys are going to separate.
We gotta do that though, then like everybody's taking a picture of
لا بس هم الناس في الاول لما هنا بقى كله لما حد يداني بالظبط معنى هو بقول انا مش بقول انا بقول ابوي والدفاع كلمت انت ايه؟ اه يا ابني شفتهم كلهم امبارح الوحيده اللي شفتها النهارده قعدت امبارح
Thank you for sharing.
كويس انت جيت طالما انت جيت
Yeah,
اهم حاجه وصل عايز بس اسمع اهم حاجه وصل وعارف الطريق بيدور والله طلبت حاجه غريبه انا مش عارف انا قلت لا ده احمد حد قلت لا ده احمد حد انا اوريك مش داخل الطريق عم خلاص لود والله كان حضرتك والله العظيم بيقول لي معايا كان خرجت انت ان احنا كلهم كويس اللي يروح يرجع فاكر صح
Going down and I'll come back.
Oh, my goodness. No, time's pointed. as we begin this graduation service. Loving God, we give you thanks for the gift of this place, this space, this moment in time, these graduates and their families. We ask your blessing on each and every graduating student today. May they find what makes them come alive and live in that reality that brings you praise and joy. May your blessing be not for them only, but rather a blessing for them so that they can in turn be a blessing to the world. Wherever they go, may they live their lives as gifts. May they offer grace and peace to all they meet along their journey, to their families, their friends, their communities, and even their enemies. Be with us, gracious God, as we celebrate them today. Amen.
You may be seated. Hi, good morning. My name is Pete Bonds. I'm the Dean of Faculty here, and on behalf...
Good morning. My name is Jerry Jared. I'm a math teacher here, and this year I was the chair of the Student Faculty Disciplinary Committee, and we are going to honor right now those graduating seniors who served on the disciplinary committee this year. They will come forward as I call their names: Sean Anderson, Bryce Ayler, Selby Morgan, and Juan M. Cheek.
I'm Jim Niederberger. I'm the advisor to the Honor Council. And would the members of the Honor Council please stand? Khaled Al-Ramadan, Abdullah Al-Saud, Zain Bankwala, Ward Carroll, Philip Chen, Paul Du, Howard Young, Logan Marshall, and Chris Rogers. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank and commend you for your excellent service this year. You led by word and by example, and you're very good role models for your fellow students. When you dealt with matters of the honor code, you tempered justice with compassion and always kept in mind the best interests of the student involved and also the best interests of the school. Would you all please come forward, please, and receive your medal.
Good morning, my name is Vinton Bruton. I'm the Assistant Headmaster for Co-Curricular Programs. I'm going to recognize the prefects. On a daily basis, our prefects are really our most visible examples of student leadership as they serve on the dorms as kind of a hybrid between a resident advisor and a big brother. And I think these guys did a particularly good job this year. I'll call out your names, you'll stand, and then at the end I'll ask you to come forward. So Khaled Abu Ramadan, Tristan Adams, Bryce Ayler, Sammy Fort, Miles Ham, Waikwan Ng, Chris Rogers, Ernesto Torres, and Caleb Warner. Please come forward.
Hello, my name is Brian Puckett, and I'm the Director of Athletic Programs here at Blue Ridge School. Before I get started, I'm going to fix one thing real quick that I've noticed. The most important part of graduation, well, actually two things. Graduation's for two things. One, it's for your mothers, and two, it's for good pictures for Instagram. So, little trick. This is how it's going to go, just so we're all on the same page and we can get good pictures. I'm going to call your name. You're going to come up onto the stage. We're going to shake. Right hand, make eye contact, I give with the left, you take with the left, and then while we're still shaking, you're going to look right there at the cameraman, and you're going to get a great picture for Instagram. Alright, so every year at graduation we give out 5 athletic awards named after esteemed athletic members of graduating classes or department members. And so, let's get started. First, we have the Billy Pace Award, which is given to the senior who's demonstrated great enthusiasm for the sports in which they've played. This year's Billy Pace Award winner is Joey Zaba. We give out the Frank Pendleton Award, which goes to the senior, in this case seniors, who have demonstrated excellent hard work, which led to great achievement. This year, our Frank Pendleton Award winners are Drew Marotra and Chris Rogers. Next, we give out the Eddie Ray Collier Award for Sportsmanship. This goes to the senior who's exhibited great sportsmanship throughout their career here at Blue Ridge School. This year's Eddie Ray Collier Award goes to Paulo Cavasani. Next, we give out the Stip Hawkins Award, which goes to the senior who has contributed the most to the athletic program during their time here. This year, the Stip Hawkins Award goes to Jaden Frazier. And then finally, we give out the Athletic Directors Award, which goes to a 4-year boy who's excelled in our athletic program. This year, the Athletic Director Award goes to Miles Ham. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Kevin Miller. I'm the Associate Head for Student Outcomes, and we are now moving to the Academic Awards, and we start with one of the Academic Awards that for some of you is your last piece of good lapel bling, the Headmaster's List Awards for the spring. To get the Headmaster's List for any trimester, in general, you have to carry a 90 average or better in grade level classes or better. And I'm pleased to announce 13 names today, and I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. I'm going to call each name and have you line up and get your rolling from there. So, on the Headmaster's List for Spring 2019, Bryce Ayler, Moses Moran, Eric Lee, Alex Dillard, Nova Arsenault, Logan Marshall, James McGregor, Howard John, Selby Morgan, Khaled Abu Ramadan, Paul Dew, Drew Marodra, and Justin Hu.
That was Lion King, original version. It's not theatrical. For those of you that don't know me, I'm, well, too bad. You're missing out. I'm Dave Welty. I'm the visual art teacher here and resident weirdo. It's my pleasure to give out the Superior Achievement in Visual Arts Award for this year. The recipient of this award is originally from the land of Kentucky, where he was not born, but found fully formed in the bottom of a barrel of bourbon. He was raised by the thoroughbred horses who discovered him there, where he learned to run, eat oats, I assume. But the herd eventually shunned him when they discovered he wears blue jeans when he mountain bikes. Dejected, he roamed the grass plains until the Boyd family, noticing his talent for lyrical breakdancing, took him in and taught him to speak the human tongue. Accepted him as one of their own, and once they had his front hooves surgically replaced with hands, he was brought to Blue Ridge, where I interviewed him, a young bald man who sat before me and told me he was an artist. And when I asked what kind of artist he was, he made a face, yeah, and squeezed out 3 feet of hair right in front of me. It's amazing. I said, "You're hired," and he's been living as a golem-like creature in the dungeons of Blue Ridge ever since. Now, I could give this to any of my seniors. Eric Lee did beautiful work this year. He had some of the best things ever. Caleb and Tristan, all those guys found their voice this year, which is something that doesn't always happen, that I could give it out to any one of them. But there can be only one, so you have to fight to the death over it. Now, over 4 years here, Colby has struggled and failed at times, but in a truly Blue Ridge fashion. He never gave up. His hallmark is persistence, and he has become something really great. I look forward to visiting him at my alma mater, Savannah College of Art and Design, where he will go on to do even greater things. Colby Boyd, come on up.
Morning, I am William McGreal. I teach English and direct theater here. And today I'm proud to give out the Frank Angelus Award. The Angelus people, I don't know if they were in the history books of Blue Ridge, they're known as the Angelus dynasty. Well-deserved, well-earned. They created theater and music here in huge volume and with great success. And we are honored to use Frank's name, assign Frank's name to this award. This year, it was tough to pick, sort of like what Mr. Welty was saying for the Art Award. We had so many people that really bear attention. I mean, who can forget my first year in Damn Yankees, the team of Caleb and what's the other person? Bryce, right? Stealing scenes with their spinster lady impersonations, or Zane absolutely nailing these tough guy parts, just crazy. Zane. I think of Tristan coming in and taking a lead role, or Abdullah from nowhere sweeping in and stealing scenes as comic and surreal as you can imagine. All great. But I'm proud to say that this person who wins the award today has demonstrated a real diverse and varied interest in the program. He's gone anything from taking the lead in Charlie Brown, which is no small task, to being one of the charter members of what became known as the timeshare program between athletics and theater. He actually carved out a way to do that, and probably one of its most active participants. Still being the fantastic manager of the basketball team, which is a demanding time. He would come in and take on roles of serious support and do them really well. This year I was happy to see that he played the role of the prince, and his entourage were the senior basketball team members, which was really appropriate, I thought, since they sort of honor and respect this man in any event. I'm happy to give the Frank Angelus Award to Keen Ennis McKinnon.
Hello, my name is Proctor, and even though I look younger than the majority of the graduates, I am not a student at Blue Ridge. I've gotten that many times. I'm an English teacher here, and I have the honor of announcing the winner of the English Award today. For the past 2 years, I have taught a group of 10 students in literature. As you could tell from last night's dinner, this group is very special. My hope is that we as people can discuss current events and understand each other as well as these young men did. This outstanding class made it very difficult for me to choose just one winner. Mr. Bruton wouldn't let me choose more than one winner. After much deliberation, one student stood out. One thing I'll always remember about him is the notes that he would take in his book. Comments like, "Oh, snap," and "Whoa," and "Connection?" were riddled over his pages, and I could tell that he definitely did the reading. As a teacher of literature, I believe it is key to interpret and understand the perspectives of others, to find the deeper meanings and interpret what the author's message was. There is no student that is able to do that better than this young man. He brought an enthusiasm to class every day, respected and listened to the ideas of his classmates, and made connections to our various readings and sources. He is a kind young man with a wonderful sense of humor, and it is my pleasure to give the English Award to Caleb Werner.
Good morning. I'm going to try to make this fast because these people over here I think are already medium well. And to avoid the glares of Ms. Benshoff, I have this digital time clock for 50-plus something-year-olds so that I will not go over my time. My name is Peter Cole, and I'm the ELL director here. We love fancy acronyms in linguistics. That's the English language learners. And today I'm truly touched by the honor of being able to present this award. The English Language Learners Award is presented to individuals who exude a number of exemplary qualities. And this young man has been a role model for his peers the entire 4 years that he's been here. Yes, he's a 4-year boy. He was the only student that I know that we had to throw out of English class because he was just, he thought he had mastered the English language. I guess his straight A's in his first 6 semesters kind of gave it away. Gave him a false sense of linguistic security and false bravado. So we plotted to sentence him to Mrs. Dr. Hermanson's honors English class to see if he could prove himself. And he ended up being the best student in that class. Fun aside, this student consistently shows up on Dean's list. He's already burned a little path up here, coming up here already. He's the senior class vice president. He's an amazing musician who's rocked us several times with his guitar already. He was my dorm proctor last year over on Upper North. He's one of the most humble, kind, dedicated ELL learners I've ever met anywhere where I've taught in the world. He continuously strives to keep as many English as a second language teachers out of work as possible by excelling in English language. So please give a warm welcome to Mr. Shinyang. Practice that one. Paul Du.
Good morning. Speech is upside down. Good morning, my name is Vicki Lobb, and I am the Spanish teacher here at Blue Ridge. I'll be presenting the Foreign Language Award, which is given in honor of Andrew Proctor. Andrew Proctor was a Blue Ridge student here who had a great love and respect for languages and diverse cultures. He attended Blue Ridge School, and while here, he immersed himself into his new life, becoming a sound member of the Blue Ridge community. He studied French and Spanish, and after he graduated, he spent a year at Kenyon College. As an intern, he traveled to Egypt, and he taught English to children there. Andrew was taken from us too early in life, but the legacy that he left, instilled in the Blue Ridge community, largely to our students, will never be forgotten. This year's recipient of the Andrew Proctor Foreign Language Award goes to Will Lowry.
My name is Patrick Kirk. It's been my great honor and privilege to be the chair of the history department here for the past year. Generally speaking, I get to torture the 9th graders, so only the 4-year boys and Devin Kareem have suffered under my tutelage. She was not out of place in that class at all, though. That must be said. So this is going to go to one of Mr. Niederberger's students. He tells me that in any other year, this could have been awarded to any number of different members of his class, but this young man grasped history at a very deep level. He was able to combine great knowledge of the facts, but also had a keen insight and was a leader in all of his class discussions. So the history award is going to go to Khaled Ramadan.
My name is Evan Gruber, and I am a math teacher here, so I'm going to be presenting the math award. And this year I've had a lot of really great students. I've had a pretty interesting opportunity of being able to teach a class that should never, ever be taught to high school students. But a lot of them suffered through it and did quite well with that. So that should be taught, I think. It's useful. But anyway, so I had a bunch of students that I taught in 2 classes, okay? And so what I was thinking is that, some of these guys are some of our most exemplary students. But then I had to look at my advanced calculus class, and I've got some stunning students in there, students that are well beyond where I was in my mathematical understanding. And for those of you that don't know me, a lot of people think I'm like this huge math nerd. I don't know why. I've got a little bit of an idea. But anyway, so I have one award that I'm going to give right now, and then I have another student who I'm going to have to see later, okay? So for now, this student has already been up here a few times. And, you know, deservedly so. And I think he'll be up here again, so you might be able to just stay up here. Seriously, you should stay up here. Sorry to ruin the drama for your next award. But anyway, Paul Dew is an exceptional math student. Someone, yeah, come on up, whom, honestly, you would put me to shame if we were anywhere close to the same age. You might even stay. No, Paul, I'm not joking.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name's Mike Vincent, and I am the Instrumental Music Director here at Blue Ridge School, or the IMD, as Mr. Cole likes to call me. I want to have initials too, because it seems like it's really, really cool. Like people have said, there's many guys I could have given this award to today, but unfortunately we can only do one. But I'd like to thank you all who came through and picked up an instrument and played it. Sometimes put it back down again, sometimes stuck with it. Will, your writing is going to take you very, very far. And you are going to go to a place where one of the major roots of what we know and love came from. I envy your education in Dublin. Please use it wisely. You got a lot of talent. Howard, thank you very much for 4 years. You were one of my first advisees, and I was your first advisor, and we got all the way through it together. For the first time in 4 years, Howard was late for assembly, the last assembly of the year, which was pretty remarkable. The winner of the Angelus Music Award is responsible for one of my favorite moments here at school. I know we all have them with our guys. But last year, took the junior class over to the Goodwill store to buy clothes for their outing on this character building trips. While most of the guys were inside the store shopping, Paul Dew decided to stay on the bus with me. And he and I talked about the guitar. It wasn't a lesson. It wasn't how do you do this. It was just about the magic and the love of the guitar and all that it's brought to us through the years. Just amazed with Paul's dedication to the instrument, all he has learned. Especially along with his academic achievements, it's incredible that he finds time to practice and achieve everything else that he has done. So, before I lose it completely, this award goes to Mr. Paul Dew.
Why is this so funny? So my real name is Hans Hermanson. I work as Director of Residence Life, Religious Studies teacher, and coach of Winter Outdoorsmen. And I am here to present the Outdoor Award. It kind of goes as a no-brainer. It's for somebody who loves the outdoors and involves themselves in it as much as they can. I asked some of my colleagues for help in describing this student because I didn't want to be selfish, and things like supporting the program and its peers. This young gentleman is very interested in getting others involved in the outdoors, not just himself. Another one was consummate leader, willingness to learn, and stick-with-itness. aka Grit. This is a gentleman who probably knows more about the military, despite having served in the military for 5 years. He's constantly telling me things that I did not even know. So this award goes to my advisee, Waikwan NG.
Hi, my name is Chuck Pace, and I'm the Science Department Chair here at Blue Ridge. And we're the last academic award to go, but not the least. So this particular student we're honoring today has been an exceptional chemistry student for us this year, and an outstanding astronomy student this year as well, and has been great in all the classes, science classes he's taken here at Blue Ridge. Drew Barodra.
The very last purely academic award is the Scholarship Award, and it goes to that senior who's maintained the highest GPA for the year. Quite a challenge for the senior year to stay there. No, it doesn't go to volunteers, Jade. Instead, in true respect of being a nerd, it gets calculated down to about the hundredths and the decimal points just about every year. This time we had a little bit more of a gap, so it's been easier to confirm, and it would be no surprise, I think, to hear that this year's Scholarship Award goes to Shulin Justin Hu.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Boyd. I'm the director of the Barron Fund, and it's my pleasure to announce the winners of the Alumni Award. It goes to the seniors chosen to be the class representatives to the Alumni Association, and these gentlemen will represent their class in their efforts to promote alumni engagement, and their work will be crucial to our success each year and in the long term. They play a vital role in keeping their classmates connected by maintaining and promoting communication with us, and their commitment to ensuring that Blue Ridge School remains at the forefront of all boys, all boarding secondary education is greatly appreciated. It's my great pleasure to award the Alumni Award to Zane Bankwala and Logan Marshall.
So now we're going to shift from academics and alumni to citizenship and give a series of awards in that category. At the end of each year, the faculty get together and vote upon groups of students that we feel like really stood out for their citizenship and their service to Blue Ridge School. And so I'm going to start by giving what are appropriately known as the Citizenship Awards to a group of students. I'll call your names out, you'll stand, you know the drill now, and then we'll shift to individual awards in the same category. So in 12th grade citizenship, will the following students please stand? Tristan Adams, Abdullah Al-Saud, Sean Anderson, Colby Boyd, Paul Dew, Jaden Frazier, Logan Marshall, Dhruv Mehrotra, Selby Morgan, and Joey Jabo. Come on up, guys.
I will be presenting the SAR Outstanding Citizenship Award. This is an award that is presented to the senior who exhibits the qualities of dependability, cooperation, leadership, and patriotism. This award is presented to Miles Ham. Good morning. I am Linda Davies, and it's my distinct pleasure to present the Albemarle Chapter Daughters of the American Revolution DAR Good Citizen Award. The National DAR, as well as our local chapter, has supported the Blue Ridge School for many decades. As you leave the campus today, you'll see the DAR building on your right with the letters DAR over the entrance. This was initially a boys' dormitory dedicated in 1952 and later renovated into faculty housing. Albemarle Chapter was founded in 1892 as part of the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. It's a non-profit, non-political women's service organization. For more than a century, the members have dedicated themselves to historic preservation, patriotism, and educational ideals. Membership's available to any woman 18 years or older who can prove lineage descent from a patriot of the American Revolution. The DAR Good Citizens Program is intended to encourage and reward qualities of good citizenship. The Blue Ridge School faculty select an outstanding senior each year who demonstrates to the highest degree the virtues of patriotism, leadership, dependability, and service. This year's recipient is described as an amazing young man who passionately pursued his interests while at Blue Ridge School. He exemplifies leadership and has been a strong part of the school community in a number of ways, assisting with live streaming services for athletic events, running audio for music performers, supporting technical needs for stage productions,
as well as providing emergency services if needed for mountain bike races and other special events. While a student at Blue Ridge School, he completed his EMT training and certification and served as an active member of 3 rescue squads, Greene County, Lake Anna, and Fredericksburg. The faculty and staff know that if assistance is needed, this individual can be relied upon to help. The honor goes to Alex Dillard.
I have the privilege of announcing the winner of the John L. Trimmer Award. This award goes to the senior whose citizenship is exceptional and deserves recognition. I have had the pleasure to serve as this young man's advisor, teacher, coach, and hall parent during his time here. He is a leader in so many ways and impacts everyone he meets. He is even more impressive as a person. He is one of the most genuine people I know and is well respected by all at this school. His approach to each day is remarkable, and his positive outlook on life is one that we should all adopt. While I hope I've helped him a little bit over the past 2 years, while he may not know this, he has helped me have a more positive outlook on life. It is my honor to present the John L. Trimmer Award to Chris Rogers.
It is also my honor to present the award duly named the Edward M. McFarland Award for the senior who has quietly but steadily embraced the Blue Ridge School offerings and programs. Sorry. This kid is quiet. But I think one of our major things that we focus on here is character building as a program. So he is quiet, but he has loads of character. He speaks with his actions more than with his words. If you're ever lost on what to do or how to behave, just follow him, because he is so put together, it's insane. Most people talk about leading from the front, and I would actually say this kid is willing to lead from behind because he's always pulling that last man with him to make sure that he does not get left behind. He does things not just to tick the box to say that he's done it, but with the intent to learn more about himself and the world around him. Before I start crying, Wyquan, get your butt up here.
Good morning. I'm Trip Dare, and I'm the headmaster of Blue Ridge School, and it is my honor to present the Headmaster's Award, which goes to a senior for outstanding contributions to Blue Ridge School. Every one of this year's graduates has made contributions to Blue Ridge School, so it was very hard for me to pick this award. You guys have all made this place better. There is one young man, though, whose contributions that I wish to highlight today. This senior is charismatic. He's a friend to all students. He is someone who every single student here would say something positive and even something personal about. He wants the best for everyone else, genuinely sacrificing his own comfort for the collective good. He attends all Blue Ridge events with a buoyant, positive attitude and picks people up. He contributed as the glue of this community. He also contributed with his leadership as a prefect. He has excellent people-centric leadership skills. He makes himself available to all students. And this year especially, many went to him time and time again. At last Sunday's honors service, where we name next year's student leaders, many of those students named came to me after the service and said, this guy helped them get ready. This guy made them feel ready to be a leader next year. And he very much contributed with his heart. This guy's got a huge heart. And he pours his heart into everything he does. Sometimes this can be painful because in life, sometimes things don't go your way. And when you lead with your heart like this guy does, you can get hurt. But perhaps more than anything else, I'm proud of this guy for having the courage to get back up and to continue to put his heart out there into his Blue Ridge School experience all the way to today, the finish line. And this young man contributed with his passion for his home, a place that he loves very, very deeply. He is Blue Ridge School's ambassador of Puerto Rico. This year's Headmaster Award goes to Ernesto Torres.
This thing seems a little fragile. I'm a little scared of it breaking. Hi, I'm Chuck Pace again, and I'm here to present the Roy Petty Award. And this award goes to a student who has rendered service to the school in a way that's beyond anyone else. And we've had a number of students here who've given a lot of service, but this one student has given the most, there's no question about it. Keen Emmons McGill.
So I have the awesome pleasure of presenting the Thomas H. Wilcox Jr. Award, which is basically, an award for our prefects. We, as a faculty, convene and talk about the service that they provided to us and everything that they've done over their time here, not just as a prefect, but specifically in their senior year. And this student is one that I've known for quite some time. I've actually taught him 3 times over 4 years, kind of 4 if you include the summer class I made him take, but a lot. So he's definitely one of my advisees for the whole time that I've been an advisor. And he's sort of one of, I consider him to be one of my 3 little brothers, which I'd never had before, so it's very special, guys. And anyway, this guy, he's been a leader pretty much ever since he got here. He helped me found a very nerdy club that most people would have shied away from, the Dungeons and Dragons Club. It's fun, I promise. Anyway, he's done so many things other than that. I remember on his freshman trip, he was fortunate enough to be in my group, or unfortunate maybe. I remember him actually reading some of the books that I brought with me, which were math books, and trying to, say, oh, you like math for some reason. Instead of just being appalled, he would
question, why? And read. Anyway, he's a very special guy, and one whom I've had an honor and so much pleasure getting to know, and I hope to continue getting to know. We've got a lot of great prefects, but this guy, Caleb Werner, needs to come up here and introduce
Good morning. I'm Ann West, and it's been my honor and privilege to serve as school chaplain here at Blue Ridge School for 4 glorious years. I am privileged to award the Clark Worthington Award this morning to the senior who has had the most wholesome influence on the school community during his years as a student and a leader. Man, I've kept myself together and I'm going to lose it on this one. This young man is pride and joy. He's the most disciplined student I've come across, and I've come across quite a few. He cared so much about community and making sure that we all felt part of Blue Ridge. He was really smart. Last year, he made really good friends with some of the seniors who had shown themselves to be outstanding leaders, and he allowed himself to be mentored by them so that he could grow into his role of leadership. And I know that as he heads off to UVA, he has great things coming his way with leadership, with studies, with his life. And I am so honored to award this to Colin. I'm sorry.
Good morning. I'm Dan Dunsmore. I work here. It's my honor to present the St. George Award this morning. And before I continue, Mr. Harris, where are you, sir? Mr. Harris, this was not planned. I didn't know you were going to be here today, but it would be my honor, sir, if you would join me on stage. Mr. Harris, please come forward. As Mr. Bonds told us earlier today, Mr. Harris received the St. George Award back in 1975. And we truly are honored that you're with us this morning, sir. Nice to meet you. The St. George Award is given to the senior who has responded best to the Blue Ridge School philosophy and has demonstrated outstanding leadership. My voice will just crack throughout the entire speech. It's the most prestigious award we give, and I think it has a little monetary value to it as well. When I first met this recipient, nearly 18 years ago, he was this big, puffy ball of fat baby, drool and dribble spilling from his mouth, snot bubbles pouring from his nose. I always wanted to say snot bubbles at a high school graduation. He was often gaseous. Not a lot has changed in 18 years. Yet he has managed to accomplish a great deal in his 4 years as a student here. That list is too long to go through this morning. Suffice it to say that he has excelled in the classroom, in athletics, in drama, lots of drama, in music, in the dorms, and in every leadership position he has held. His impeccable character is his strongest trait. It has earned him the respect of each of his peers, as well as the adults in this community. I am lucky to have been his advisor. I'm very proud to call him a good friend. Mr. Bryce Everett Ayler, please come forward.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Miles Ham. Before I start, I would just like to say thank you to everyone who has made this experience possible. Mr. Darren, and shout out to Mr. President Coletta Abaramdan over there. When I arrived at Blue Ridge 4 years ago as a freshman, I did not have a plan. I remember going through the check-in during orientation, and as I got to the sports sign-up station, all I can recall is every single football coach's eyes lighting up. What a disappointment it was for them when I admitted I was just a tennis player. Yes, I did just say that. I am a tennis player. My first year at Blue Ridge, I had absolutely zero interest in becoming a football player. Crazy, right? Instead, I decided to sign up to become an outdoorsman with Mr. Bruton. I was actually excited to join Mr. Bruton's team until I found out that you had to go through tryouts to actually become an outdoorsman. And to be honest, I didn't think I was going to make the cut. Luckily, this was not the case. After making the team, Mr. Bruton brought me in and told me that he partly selected me because he knew that football was going to steal me the very next year. I thought he was joking, especially because I had already assured him he had nothing to worry about and I was just a tennis player. Through my time here at Blue Ridge, I have learned that brotherhood is very important. Just about every student here has been given a nickname. I cannot tell you how many different names I have. The most popular are Big Ham, Hambone, and then out of the blue, I just have somebody calling me ham biscuits, and I just respond because the word ham was in it. I would like to give a special shout out today to my Barron brothers, Juan and Jalil, for forcing me to give football a try. If it wasn't for my Barron brothers, I probably would have never gotten into football. I'm sure my mother would have been okay with this. She still thinks I'm taking her to Wimbledon. Sorry, Mom. I did not know what was going to happen when I first started football. I figured it was just going to be something I pursued for a year and then I would move on. When the football season began, it was like I was thrown in the deep end of the pool with no life jacket. I was lost. The other guys had been playing the game their whole lives, and all of a sudden there I was doing up-downs for not comprehending the material. My Barron brothers did not give up on me. They came to my room and made sure I understood everything that was going to happen in practice. I think when I started striving was when I just let go and did it for me and was no longer worried about trying to disappoint my teammates. Part of it was my mom's fault. She saw that movie Concussions with Will Smith and lost her mind. My mom told me if I got a concussion, she was going to pull me from football. But I had to put that behind me. This experience helped me realize that I had to start doing things because I wanted to do them. I escaped from all the expectations others had placed on me, and I started doing things for myself. I put aside the fear of failure and instead put in extra work that would enable me to succeed. I asked my coaches for help at every chance. I became very motivated. My teammates encouraged me to keep pushing. They saw potential in me that I did not know I had. I have learned two very important lessons throughout football and the other team sports here at school. When I was playing tennis singles, everything was about me winning. When I stepped onto the court, it was just me and my opponent. The transition to football was different. It was no longer about me. It was about the team. I was no longer playing for myself. I was part of the team, and I had to do my part to support my teammates. Everyone has an assignment. The linemen have to protect their quarterback. The quarterback has to throw the ball and trust in his receivers. And the linemen have to block for the running backs. The team has to trust the coaching staff and so on. It's all about trust. It's all about you doing your part. You have to have faith in one another. That is another big lesson I've learned. That's a lesson I will carry for the rest of my life. In life, you have to learn that there are always going to be obstacles that cause you to lose focus. No matter how much these obstacles may steer you off your track, don't give up. I struggled with this. I was finally at a high point. I felt like I was at my best. Then I started going to interview at different colleges, and all I heard was, we need more film. We need more film. All that hard work I had put in felt like it was going to go to waste. I kept pushing and pushing. I would not let that. I would not let that we need more film stop me. Fortunately, in addition to brotherhood aspect of the school, we also have faculty that provides a feeling of family. Coach Rob and his wife Nurse Tanya opened up their house to me last summer and went out their way to make sure all the summer football camps I needed to go to, I was there. My football coach would take off days from work just to drive me all the way up to West Virginia on numerous occasions. One time he said to me, Miles, for all this driving today, you better get an offer. Last summer I picked up my first offer to play at Concord University, and that's where I later on signed this year. I cannot express how much I am thankful for my Blue Ridge family and how much this school has done for me. I love you, Mom. Thank you.
Once again, I'm Kevin Miller. I've got several nicknames. None of them repeatable here except perhaps D. Mills. And I know we've got a few, we've been here for a while, so if we need to stretch, I'm going to lead you guys in a stretch. If seniors, you want to join me in this stretch, we can do that.
Nice shout out to Moses.
I'm going to miss seeing that across the lacrosse field, Mose. I'm going to have to come up to Canisius to see that happen sometime. Certainly my first reaction when Colette told me that y'all had chosen me Well, I couldn't believe you actually wanted to hear my voice again. And then my second reaction was to reflect on 30 years, 19 of them sitting in those seats right there, 11 of them sitting in seats at other high school graduations, looking at the speaker for that day and saying in my head, keep it short. What on earth do you think you've got to say that these guys are actually going to remember when they know after you're done they get to graduate? And you'd think, that would be a humbling experience, and so I would keep it short. But life doesn't work that way, boys. But I did reflect, when I reflected on that 30 years, to say, okay, is there something, anything really, that maybe we keep with us? And what's kept me going? What do I keep thinking of almost every day for the past 30 years of teaching? And what keeps me in it? There's a lot of sentimental ways to say it, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stick to my true nerd. And what got me hooked on teaching, and teaching students with learning disabilities in particular, and what keeps me hooked on working with everybody, is the scientific concept of neuroplasticity. Yeah, I told you to be nerdy. That's the fact that your brain can change. This was something that when they first started talking about it in the early 90s, people were dumbfounded. There was this thought earlier on that with the neurons you were born with the neurons you had, and if you damaged them tough enough for you, that was it. You couldn't change your brain. You had your limitations. But then first with patients who had suffered a stroke and lost the ability to speak, and who found some ways to rewire, to go around that damaged part, to find another way to speak again. People started realizing, wait a minute, you've got unusual words. You've got a way around this roadblock. And people applied that also to the field of learning disabilities, particularly with dyslexia, and found ways to teach students who don't process information the way someone without dyslexia does, but can find ways to process it just as successfully, just as well, and become doctors and lawyers, great business leaders, and Tom Cruise. And that really has stuck with me because it's been able to keep me going and have me keep my guys going, to say, wait a minute, if the brain's always changing, then it can always change, and you can always change. Things can always get better. What it is now doesn't have to stay that way forever. If what it is right now is not what you want it to be, you got some ways to do that. They're not easy, but you got some ways to do that. It starts with your mindset. You've heard some reference to that already in some of our awards. You just heard it in Miles' speech. It starts with changing your mindset. You can rewire your brain through some very simple techniques. And when you do that, you realize what I thought was so bad isn't so bad. When you do that, you realize what I thought was a roadblock just opened up 2 new paths for me. And when you do that, you realize I can always pick myself back up. You've heard that phrase used up here too. You've never truly fallen until that time that you refuse to pick yourself back up, and I hope that time never occurs for you. And in fact, you have a responsibility to make sure that it doesn't. So how do you do that? How do you rewire your brain? We won't go through a huge lecture on that right now. But basically, I'm going to take it a little bit backward in how you do this really. One of the key things to sort of resetting your brain to where you want life to be, and to acknowledge that what is does not have to stay that way, is to think about what purpose your brain's there for in the first place, what purpose you're there for in the first place. And that can be a trap. That's been a trap for some recent generations. They're waiting for that. I don't have that great big purpose. My life is purposeless because I'm 22 and I have not yet cured cancer or made $1 million. And that's not the way it goes, guys. Right in front of you, every day, right around you, every day, there's a small purpose to be met. It's something that you do for yourself, something that you do for your academics, and most importantly, something that you do for other people. That's one of the things that keeps all of us going here. Getting up every day. Believe me, the faculty say the same thing you do. They go, oh my God, we hear Kevin's voice at 8 o'clock. But then they shake that off, most of them. Then they shake that off, and they find their purpose, and usually that purpose is one of you guys. And in building up that daily purpose, find that small purpose. Don't ignore it. Don't be looking so far out at this huge thing that you think you're supposed to do that you miss the purpose right in front of you. Because you string those purposes together, those small daily purposes, those small daily tasks, and that big one's going to leap right out at you. And sometime, maybe sometime soon, maybe sometime 10, 15, 20 years from now, you'll go, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. It will happen. We've got to allow it to happen. So again, taking it backwards, how do you do that? How do you do those small things with great love? I stole that quote from Mother Teresa. She doesn't want to. But it's a great thing. It says, do no great things. Do only small things with great love. It's a good one to remember if you're going to remember something. And one of the ways that you do that is you do research. You do some things that people think of as kind of hippie and new age, things like mindfulness meditation. But meditation is as simple as walking the dog. It's as simple as running on the track. It's as simple as getting on your mountain bike, getting out in the fresh air. It's just a way to shift your mind from this constant irritation, this constant pinging of the phone in your pocket, this constant, what should I be doing next? And just say, okay, let me think about what's important right now. And how do you get calm like that? How do you get yourself to that spot? As I say, I'm working backwards to end on this part. You get that calm from letting yourself take a walk. Get all that static, all that jumping around, all that worry settled down, because there is one central thing that you always need to remember. You are loved. Look around you right now. I guarantee you, around here, there's someone who loves you very, very much. Don't ask us why. If we could come up with an answer to that question, and a question we ask ourselves several times a day, sometimes with some of you, it still wouldn't satisfy. Just know, and always know, you are loved, and you take that love, and you use that love to get your brain to that point where it can then say, okay, now that I know I'm loved, what's my next task? Because that's the last thing I'd like to leave you with. We don't, as the adults who love you, want much from that gift, except this one thing. Pass that love on.
Thank you, Hambone. Thank you, D. Mills. Nice job, gentlemen. All right. Now we transition to the part, I guess the reason that we've all gathered here today, the awarding of diplomas for the class of 2019. But before we hand out that important documentation, boys, I want to introduce to all of you the chairman of the Blue Ridge School Board of Trustees, Mr. William Mitch Rue, class of 1981, who will hand out Chairman Rue will be the one handing out the diplomas to our graduates here in front of the podium, and please guys remember to take a look up, remember Mr. Puckett's advice, look up the aisleway for the photo op. Thank you. I ask, as I call out your graduates' names to parents and family members and advisors, please stand when I call your graduate's name. But please also do me one favor. I know it's really tough, but hang on to that applause just for a moment until I call out the college that he's attending and he's with Mr. Rue receiving his diploma. At that point, let it rip. Khalid Mazer Abu Ramadan, President, from Gaza, Palestine, accompanied by Mr. Joseph Schumann, a 3-year student, will attend the University of Virginia. Xinyang Paul Du, Vice President, from Chengdu, China, accompanied by Ms. Marcia Kozlowski, a 4-year student, will attend Purdue University. Shouhao Howard Jiang, Representative, from Beijing, China, accompanied by Mr. Mike Vinson, a 4-year student, will attend Boston University. Robert Keene Emmons, Representative, from Moncton, Maryland, accompanied by Ms. Kathleen Emmons and Ms. B.B. McGill, a 4-year student, will attend Loyola University, Maryland. Tristan Allen Adams, from Orange County, Virginia, accompanied by Mrs. Heather Adams, Mrs. Enid Mendelson, and Mr. Matt Adams, a 4-year student, will attend Virginia Military Institute. Prince Abdullah bin Saad Al Saud, from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, accompanied by Prince Saad Al Saud and Princess Nof Al Saud, a 2-year student, will attend the American University. Trevor Devin Albro, from Charlottesville, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. Thomas Albro and Mrs. Betsy Albro, a 4-year student, will attend Piedmont, Virginia Community College. Benjamin Alejandro, from Chantilly, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Rodney Alejandro and Ms. Lucy Alejandro, a 2-year student, will attend University of Connecticut. Jashawn Howard Anderson, from St. George, Virginia, accompanied by Ms. Latanya Anderson and Mr. Chris Robinson, a 2-year student, will attend University of Virginia. Nova Tian Arsenault, from Fredericksburg, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Christian Arsenault and Mr. Hans Hermanson. A 4-year student, will attend Mary Baldwin University. Bryce Everett Ayler, from Ruckersville, Virginia, accompanied by Ms. Stacy Ayler and Mr. Chad Ayler. A 4-year student, will attend Rochester Institute of Technology. Zane Bankwala, from Chantilly, Virginia, accompanied by Ms. Zaina Bankwala and Mr. Shahrukh Bankwala. A 4-year student, will attend Elon University. Colby L.H. Boyd, from Prospect, Kentucky, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. R. Morton Boyd. A 4-year student, will attend Savannah College of Art and Design. Simon Thibault Burris, from New Orleans, Louisiana, accompanied by Mr. Avery Burris. and Mrs. Sally Buras. A 2-year student will attend Delgado Community College. Ward Thomas Carroll from Raleigh, North Carolina, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. James Carroll. A 2-year student will attend University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Pablo Cabezani Eloseri from Madrid, Spain, accompanied by Mr. Julio Cabezani and Mrs. Blanca Eloseri. A 2-year student will attend Schiller International University of Madrid. Kefe Philip Chen from Guangzhou, China, accompanied by Mrs. Honman Huang. A 4-year student will attend University of California, Irvine. Devin Charles Carini from Arlington, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Devin Carini. A 3-year student will attend Louisiana State University. Zuen Minh Viet Dong from Tay Ho, Hanoi, Vietnam, accompanied by Mr. Zuen Tuan. A 3-year student will attend Union College. Christopher Lee Dean from St. George, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Mike Jamrasek. A 4-year student will attend Radford University. Alexander James Dillard from Spotsylvania, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Troy Dillard. A 4-year student will attend Virginia Commonwealth University. Samuel Saleh Fort from Lynn, Massachusetts, accompanied by Mrs. Cynthia Fort. A 2-year student will attend University of North Dakota. Jaden Alexander Frazier from Pulaski, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Frazier. A 4-year student will attend the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Christian Xavier Gutilla from Summit, New Jersey, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Gutilla. A 3-year student will attend Stevenson University. Miles James Ham from Loganville, Georgia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. James Ham. A 4-year student will attend Concord University. Savion Trinidad Helm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey Helm. A 2-year student will attend Richard Bland College. Sean Nicholas Horvath from Southern Pines, North Carolina, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Ted Horvath. A 1-year student will attend Sand Hills Community College. Shulin Justin Hu from Guangbu, China, accompanied by Mr. Matt Bennett. A 4-year student will attend University of Washington. Omar Hassan Abdullah Jassim from Maharek, Bahrain, accompanied by Mr. Hassan Jassim and Mrs. Kavita Sharma. A 2-year student will attend Kent State University. Ji Hao Jin from Yiwu, China, accompanied by Mr. John Hetzel, a 4-year student, will attend University of California, Irvine. Xavier Andrew Kane from Christiansburg, Virginia, accompanied by Mrs. Doris Kane, a 3-year student, will attend Campbell University. Charles DeLucy King from Columbia, South Carolina, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. George King Jr., a 2-year student, will attend University of Tampa. William Perry King from Mountain Brook, Alabama, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy King, a 3-year student, will attend University of Mississippi. Grant David Kramer from Lexington, Kentucky, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. David Kramer, a 2-year student, will attend University of Kentucky. Sudui Eric Lee from Shenzhen, China, accompanied by Ms. Yenmei Peng and Ms. Nicole Xu, a 4-year student, will attend Boston University. Yan Feng Jimmy Lee from Shanghai, China, accompanied by Mr. Jian Li and Mrs. Jia Zhang, a 4-year student, will attend Michigan State University. William Keith Lowry III from Springfield, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. William Lowry Jr., a 2-year student, will attend University College of Dublin. Logan Parker Marshall from Gloucester, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Brian Marshall, a 4-year student, will attend Hampton Sydney College. James Mitchell McGregor from Rock Hill, South Carolina, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Sam McGregor Jr., a 1-year student, will attend College of Charleston. Dhruv Mehrotra from Pune, Maharashtra, India, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Vineet Mehrotra and Mrs. Asha Bardbarde. A 3-year student, will attend Haverford College. Angus McLean Middleton from Louisville, Kentucky, accompanied by Ms. Louisa McLean. A 3-year student, will attend University of Kentucky. Moses Joseph Moran from Butler, Pennsylvania, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Moran. A 2-year student, will attend Canisius College. Selby Shepard Morgan from Stamford, Connecticut, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Archibald Morgan. A 3-year student, will attend University of New Orleans. Zachary Alexander Newman from Colleyville, Texas, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Peter Newman. A four-year student will attend Angelus State University. Wai Quan from Hong Kong, China, accompanied by Mr. Dong Liang Wu and Mrs. Ming Mei Wang. A three-year student will attend George Mason University. David Freeman Paulson from Raleigh, North Carolina, accompanied by Mr. David Paulson Jr. and Mrs. Mary Beth Paulson. A four-year student will attend University of Mississippi. Henry Spencer Pruitt from Richmond, Virginia, accompanied by Mrs. Katie Groff and Mr. Mark Pruitt. A one-year student will attend James Madison University. Henry Scott Robinson from Alexandria, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Robinson. A two-year student will attend Denison University. Christopher Lee Rogers from McGaheysville, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Rogers. A two-year student will attend Trevecca Nazarene University. William K. Rukuba from Hyattsville, Maryland, accompanied by Mr. Oscar Ngeza, Dr. Nightingale Rukuba Ngeza, and Ms. Rakaya Nde. A four-year student will attend Morehouse College. Isaac George Seufer from Highland Park, Illinois, accompanied by Mr. Brian Seufer and Mrs. Amy Seufer. A two-year student will attend the University of Missouri. Joseph Edward Szabo from Milton, Ontario, Canada, accompanied by Mrs. Lori Szabo and Ms. Jessica Szabo. A two-year student will attend Queen's University of Charlotte. Ernesto Jose Torres Irizarry from San Germán, Puerto Rico, accompanied by Mr. Javier Torres, Mrs. Joanna Irizarry, and family. A two-year student will attend Pontifical Catholic University of Puerto Rico. Caleb William Werner from Richmond, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. Mark Werner and Mrs. Tracy Werner. A four-year student will attend Christopher Newport University. James Clarence Whitehurst IV from Greenville, North Carolina, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. James Whitehurst III. A one-year student will attend Queen's University of Charlotte. And finally, with no Headmaster's Day on the line, Alec Peyton Williams from Culpeper, Virginia, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Williams. A four-year student will attend Coastal Carolina University. Ladies and gentlemen, is my distinct honor and privilege that on behalf of the faculty and staff of Blue Ridge School, I present to you the graduated class of 2019.
All right. I am giving fair warning to every living soul out there. Move out of the aisle. Do yourself a favor. This aisle needs to be nice and clear. Gentlemen, we send you off with God's blessing and graces. I'm going to sing a little tune. If you know it, join in. Amen. 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 One more time. Amen. Amen.
All right, gentlemen, you can head back somewhere discreet, change into some bathing gear, and okay, thank you again. We're gonna recess first. I'm sorry, guys, my bad. Recessing first. Headmaster Error.
I don't know how y'all did it, but you guys do it. Once a year. Once a year. Cook. Only once a year. Where you going, dude? He bought me gifts. Huh? I left it with my mom. Right, come here, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, a little announcement here about the parking. There's a woman here who has to catch a flight, yet her car is blocked in by a Nissan with a North Carolina license plate FDX 3635. So if you're the owner of that car, if you can help us out and move it so this nice woman can make her flight, I'd appreciate it. Peace out, road.
Very good. Good luck, man. Now leave this with you. Thank you. I will drive the flag.